that your best price?
No.
You've been chasing one of them, Brendan?
Yeah, definitely been chasing one.
I've got $450 cash in my wallet.
Come with me, toy fans.
Hey toy fans, my name is Tony and welcome back to the Analog Toys YouTube channel. Now, during my recent trip to Melbourne, I decided to hit up a few different vintage toy hunting spots. And while I was there, I was lucky enough to come across one of my all-time toy holy grails. So make sure you stay tuned to the end of the video to find out what exciting item I picked up. The first place I visited is called Aaron's Collectibles, and it's located in the Melbourne suburb of Blackburn. And this is a fairly small shop, but it is jam-packed with vintage toy goodness. And for this particular toy hunting expedition, I teamed up with my good mate Brendan, who I'd finally met in person a couple of days before at the panel at Lobo's Collectibles.
This is the 007.
Yep.
I've got two others. Well, I've got the Aston Martins for Daniel Craig and for from Goldfinger. Just going, you know, that is so great. Doctor Who. So if you look at the series, you know, this type of thing, and then you've got this with Bond sitting at the back there, like $8.
That's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I was going to say.
As I was browsing all the different cabinets in Aaron's Collectibles, the first item that really caught my eye is this gorgeous box Thunderbirds Give a Show projector set from Chad Valley. This is a 1960s item, a beautiful box. Not really the kind of thing that I was looking for on the day, but it was still nice to see a beautiful 1960s piece like this in the wild. Another item that stood out to me straight away was this beautiful Estrela Merman. Now, Estrela is a toy company out of Brazil, and when they manufactured Masters of the Universe action figures back in the day, they used different colours to the ones produced by Mattel. And this guy just looks incredible with that deep, rich orange colour scheme. Whilst perusing the vintage G.I. Joe cabinet, I came across my first two pickups of the day, starting with a vintage Big Ben. Now, this guy has some accessories, but he's far from complete, but the figure was in really minty condition. And you know me, I can't leave a fallen soldier behind, especially when it's Big Ben. And for the second vintage G.I. Joe pickup of the day, I got this nice complete wetsuit action figure. I've wanted one of these for a while. It's not a super rare figure or anything like that, but he's minty and complete, and the price was very reasonable, so I took this guy home too. Yet I wasn't the only person to go home with some vintage G.I. Joe figures, as my mate Brendan had to get in on the action too.
There he is, at the back of grabbing. Because I went to buy him one time and then the person couldn't find him.
Yeah.
So I've waited like 3 years to get him.
Yeah.
You've been chasing one of them, Brendan?
Yeah, definitely been chasing one for like 3 years now. Yeah, had a sale on eBay, and then when he went through, he couldn't find it, and they had to cancel it, and just, yeah, so happy.
Nice.
It's a win.
Aaron's Collectibles also has a very respectable selection of vintage Star Wars toys. And while I certainly didn't pick up any heavy hitters or anything like that, I did find myself a nice minty white Princess Leia. Now, while I do already have a complete one of these in my collection, the figure that I currently own is quite badly yellowed. So I'm going to swap the cape and the accessories over to this new minty white example and put this into my display case. Now, this next item that I acquired I would consider to be a little bit of a knick-knack, and I didn't actually capture any footage of it in the store, but I was able to pick up this little 2 cassette pack of Flash Gordon story cassettes. And I like the artwork on this. It's the Lion Men of Mongo. There's 2 cassettes in there. It's a 4-part story with each part on each side of each cassette. Nothing particularly special, but you know, I love the artwork, and it's going to display really well in my new Flash Gordon display shelf, which is also paired up now with Doctor Who. And speaking of Doctor Who, there is no shortage of vintage Time Lord merchandise available at Aaron's Collectibles. Behind the counter, they've got this gorgeous gold life-size Dalek, countless Doctor Who novels, and quite a large range of vintage Doctor Who toys. What price have you got on this canine here? Is that Dapple?
So,
Oh, I think that's
made in Hong Kong. That looks like the.
I think that's Palatoy.
Oh, okay, well, could be.
Or
Because they did the.
or Denny's Fisher. And this was my final pickup of the day. This is the canine toy from the Denny's Fisher Doctor Who line from the 1970s. Now this guy has his ears broken off, and that is not the original tail, but the price was very reasonable and I couldn't resist bringing him home because I had a spot for him in my new Doctor Who / Flash Gordon action figure display case at home, and he looks perfect there with Doctor Who, the TARDIS and the Palatoy talking Dalek. Myself and Brendan spent a good hour and a half hunting for vintage toys in Aaron's Collectibles. And if you're ever in Melbourne, I encourage you to jump on the train and head out to Blackburn to visit the place. It only takes about 25 minutes from Melbourne city centre. If you enjoy the content that we create here at Analog Toys, why not take a moment to subscribe to the channel by clicking the little button down there. It's free, it's easy, and it really does go a long way in helping this channel grow, which also enables us to create more high quality videos like the one you're watching right now. So do yourself a favour and subscribe, and while you're there, click the notification bell to make sure that you get notified whenever a new video drops. And before we left, I just had to take a shot of this framed Indiana Jones hat and whip. And while it's a gorgeous frame, I just have no idea why anyone would frame a terrible looking Indy hat like that. It just looks awful. The following day, I met up with Brendan again for lunch and a few beers, and he surprised me with a really esoteric Incredible Hulk toy. Brendan had picked this up a couple of days earlier at Lobo's Collectibles and gifted it to me over lunch. And it's kind of strange seeing the Incredible Hulk driving a car. And while this is a pretty cheaply made toy, Brendan told me this incredible story of how he remembers getting this toy from a show bag at the Royal Show, which is such an Australian thing. Like, Americans might not know what I'm talking about, but when you used to go to the Royal Show, you would get these show bags, you know, and they would be themed like Batman or Star Wars or even different pop stars and stuff like that. And in there you would get kind of stocking stuffer type novelty items. Normally there'd be a magazine in there and a couple of cheap plastic toys and things like that. And the fact that Brendan remembers getting this really funky looking Incredible Hulk car from an Australian Royal Show, I'm honoured that he decided to pick that up as a gift for me, and it's going to take pride of place in my vintage Incredible Hulk display. Later that evening, myself and Brendan had to part ways. He was travelling back home the next day. I still had one more day in Melbourne though, and I had heard that the Melbourne Toy and Comic Fair was on the following morning. So I thought, hey, I've got one more day in Melbourne, I don't have many plans, let's head out there in an Uber and see what we can pick up. And I thought I'd arrived at the event early, but clearly not early enough, because I ended up way back in the queue waiting for the doors to open. And once I got inside, I was pretty disappointed to find that the show was like 95% modern. I mean, I'm not really sure what I was expecting. I was hoping to find a little bit more vintage stuff, but it was mostly Funko Pops. There was G.I. Joe Classified there, tons and tons of Masters of the Universe Origins figures, Marvel Legends, and Pokemon cards. Not really the sort of stuff that I was looking for. I did come across some quite nice graded Kenner Superpowers, and even though I collect Kenner Superpowers, I'm not really into the graded stuff. As a matter of fact, I'm not even really collecting any carded stuff. I like my Superpowers collection to be loose. So after spending about 45 minutes or so walking around this entire show, I thought it was going to be a total bust for this event. I thought I was going to go home empty-handed and a little bit frustrated that I'd spent money in an Uber going all the way out there just to look at modern stuff that I'm not interested in. But that very last aisle had an incredible surprise in store for me. Do you mind if I take a look at this?
Yeah, go for it. Yep.
Is this
This
original?
it hasn't got the
dome?
or the mouth that comes out.
Yeah.
Yep.
You don't see these very often.
Nah. No. In box, you never see it.
Yeah, no.
Never. Pretty hard in box.
That's right, on this one particular stall, the guy had a 1979 18-inch tall Kenner Alien. He also had a boxed one, but that was $5.5 grand, but I've never wanted a boxed one of these. I've always wanted the loose one. And I've actually mentioned it many times on this channel that that is a holy grail for me. As such, the original 18-inch tall Kenner Alien remains one of my most wanted holy grail toys. And I've seen quite a few of them in Tokyo toy hunting videos right here on YouTube. And since I'm heading to Japan in January, this is one of the toys that I'm hoping to acquire on that trip. Well, I never found one of those toys in Japan, but I did come across it at this show in Melbourne. And I don't know why, but I put the toy back down after having a look at it and walked off and carried on perusing more Funko Pops. But it took me all of about 2 minutes to realise that, first of all, I was not going to find anything else at this show, and it could be years before I ever found one of these 18-inch tall Kenner Aliens in the wild again. So I made my way back over to the booth. Now, the guy was asking $550 Australian for this piece, and I literally had $450 cash on me. That's all the money I had to spend. So I had to shoot my shot and see if the guy would take my offer. Is that your best price?
Which one?
This one?
You can go lower for you.
I've got $450 cash in my wallet. Four?
450 it is,
Yeah?
yeah. Sweet.
I'll shake your left hand and I'm going to count.
Nice.
Amazing.
I'll give you a
So I am now the really, really happy and proud owner of an 18-inch tall Kenner Alien. This thing is enormous. It also wasn't very easy getting this thing in my suitcase ready for my flight home the following day. But where there's a will, there's a way. And this big chap has now found his new home here at the Analog Toys studio. As the seller mentioned, this piece is missing the clear dome that goes on the top of the skull and the jaws that pop out of the mouth, but I'm sure I'm going to be able to come across some reproduction ones sometime in the near future. But for now, this is still a absolutely wonderful display piece, and I've already found a spot for him in the collection room. So that's it for this episode, but make sure you stay tuned to the channel, because while I was in Melbourne, I also spent over 4 hours toy hunting in my favourite place in Australia, Lobo's Collectibles. And I've got a ton of content that I need to get edited into a really nice video, and that'll be coming to the channel in the next couple of weeks. So make sure you're subscribed, hit the bell and all that good jazz so that you get notified when that video drops. And I'll see you all in the next video. Cheers.
Kenner presents new alien action figure.
Maintenance flow! Quick, shut the airlock! The alien's locked out now! He got through! Shh! Give up! Alien can't be beat! We'll zap him with the light! Don't, he'll destroy the spaceship! We've lost! Better find another ship! Let's try the kitchen! Another triumph for Alien!
Alien action figure. New from Kenner.